Hello, welcome to our B1 test practice. This is the second video in our series of videos regarding the B1 tests. Today's video is for the discussion phase, which the learner needs to prepare beforehand. And the topic we are covering today is my family. This video will give you examples of subtopics to choose and related questions and answers. As mentioned on our first video, you prepare a mind map for your chosen topic. Our topic for this video is my family. Learners also need to prepare 5 subtopics. This video will focus on example questions and answers for the subtopics for my family. If you want to learn how to create a mind map, please watch our previous video so that you can learn how to create a mind map and also how to prepare the topics, the main topic and the subtopics. Now let's get started with the first subtopic. So subtopic 1 for my family could be my husband. So your first topic can be my husband. So let's look at example questions and answers for this subtopic. So an example question for the subtopic my husband could be, tell me about your husband. What does he do? Your answer could be, my husband's name is Zach. He was born in England, but is a Pakistani like me. He is a chef and works for a local restaurant. He has worked there since he was 16. He was a trainee chef first, but now he is the head chef. He has progressed over the years. Remember, there can be many other questions and answers, but here we have given you one example. If we have time in the future, we will do videos just for questions and answers so that you can get more practice. Here's some additional information to help you prepare for the test. Remember, you'll need to use the correct grammar. You also need to use some contractions in your answers, and you need to say at least one sentence in the past tense. You also need to ask the examiner at least one question during the discussion. Some examples of contractions are his, isn't, can't, hasn't, I'm. For example, I'm is made of I am. Also, some examples of the past tense which we used in the previous slide are, he has worked there since he was 16 years old. So the word worked is in the past tense because it's got ed at the end. And also we've used words such as has and was, which are in the past tense as well. And there's other words such as cooked, came, jumped, did, which are examples of the past tense. Now, you could use any of them as long as you do say a few sentences in the past tense. As far as asking the examiner questions is concerned, you can ask any question as long as it's related to the topic. So, for example, when you're talking about marriage and family and husbands, you could ask them, what does your husband do? Or, are you married? Subtopic 2 could be my family home. You choose any topics you want, but they must be about your chosen main topic. And the examiner will ask questions based on your chosen topics and subtopics. Remember to use simple explanations, keep sentences short, remember to use contractions, and say at least one sentence in the past tense. How many rooms do you have in your house? And you could answer, we have 3 bedrooms and a bathroom upstairs. There's a kitchen, living room, and dining room downstairs. And then the examiner could say, "Do you have a garden?" And you would answer, "No, we don't have a garden, but we have a small backyard where we put our bins. In Pakistan, my parents have a big garden." And then the examiner could ask you, "What can you see from your bedroom window?" And you could say, "We can see houses across from us and the road at the front of the house. It is a very busy road." Subtopic 3 could be my in-laws and my children. You can have these as two separate topics, but I have combined them. You can have just my in-laws, especially for those who don't have children. Now let's look at some examples. The examiner could ask you, "Do your in-laws live with you?" And you could answer, "Yes, they do. They came from Pakistan 2 years ago. They are very nice and help look after the children. My father-in-law is 68 years old and my mother-in-law is 60 years old." The examiner could ask you, "How many children do you have?" And you could answer, "I have two children, one girl and one boy. My daughter is 6 years old and my son is 2 years old. My daughter started primary school last year. My son will start nursery school next year." Using verb tenses. This slide is to help you prepare for the test and also to help you learn about tenses. Remember, you are expected to use different tenses. Most of the discussion will be in the present tense, but you need to say some things in the past and future tenses too. Here we're going to look at some examples which we have used in the previous slides as example answers. So for the present tense, in the previous slides we have used "Yes, they do," and "I have two children, one girl and one boy." So the words "do" and "have" are verbs in the present tense. Now let's look at some examples in the past tense. They came from Pakistan last year. My daughter started nursery school last year. So here the verbs came and started are in the past tense, and they've also used last year, which tells you it happened in the past. For the future tense, in our example, we have used "My son will start nursery school next year." So the word "will" tells you that this sentence is in the future, and also next year, obviously, tells you that it's in the future. Subtopic 4 could be my family's favorite food. An example question which the examiner might ask is, "What is your family's favorite food?" And you could answer, "My family likes spicy food. My family's favorite food is biryani, but my husband prefers tandoori chicken. I make tandoori chicken twice a week because it's easy to make. I make biryani every 2 weeks because it's too much work." And then you could ask the examiner, "What is your favorite food?" The aim of this slide is to help you prepare for the test. It gives you examples of things that you need to use in the test. Now, the first example here is connecting clauses using the word "because." So, an example of that is, "I make tandoori chicken twice a week because it is easy to make." The second example is using adverbials or adjectives of quantity. "I make biryani every 2 weeks because it is too much work." So the phrase "too much" is an example of quantity. It's an adverbial quantity. And you also need to use expressions of preference such as I prefer and I'd rather. And an example of that is my family's favorite food is biryani, but my husband prefers tandoori chicken. Remember, these are just some examples the examiner will check for. There are many others, and there's many other things you can use based on your topic and the answers that you give. Remember to ask the examiner questions about the topic you are discussing. For example, if you're discussing food, you could ask the examiner, "What is your favorite food?" Or if you're discussing children, you could ask, "Do you have any children?" These are just two examples. You could ask other questions as well, as long as it is within the topic that you're discussing. Your final subtopic, subtopic 5, could be my family's favorite holiday destination. And an example of a question the examiner might ask is, where does your family like to go on holiday? Your answer could be, my family's favorite place for holidays is Pakistan. It is a beautiful country. If I had the money, I would go there every year. The last time I visited Pakistan was in 2022. We had an amazing holiday and my children got to see our village. We will go again next year. So, as you can see, the past and future tense has been included here as well, and that is something that you need to remember to do. Here are some reminders. Remember to create a mind map for your chosen topic before you go for the test and take it with you to the test because the examiner will ask for it and you will have to hand it to them. Also, apply what you have learned during this video. Use the correct grammar and use the correct tenses. Remember to ask the examiner a couple of questions based on the topics you are covering. See all the examples I have given during this video as it will help you to apply what you have learned and remind you what you need to do. I will be posting more videos, so subscribe to the channel to get notifications. Our next video will cover the conversation phase. The conversation phase will cover two topics which the examiner will choose. So you won't be able to prepare for them beforehand. There's about 5 or 6 topics that the examiner chooses from. So we will try to cover those topics in separate videos so that you are ready for some of the questions you may come across. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.